There are people, particularly in social media, who would do anything to succeed. They'll say anything, do anything, put themselves in danger, try to make a name for themselves. And honestly, that's not me. I mean, I do have one goal, which is I figured if I had 10,000 subscribers, I could survive the winters here in Wells off the ad revenue. But do I have like a greater goal? No. Do I want to be big, successful? No.
There it is. This is bad news. My God. Anything could happen. Get on! Wow.
I'll watch the video later. Ain't dry mopping this. Climbing up the mountain here and seeing some things here of interest. Like I see the fiddleheads are coming out here. I'm sure for most of you they've already come out where you live. I don't see any right where I'm standing here. Great timing, Joe. You blew the shot. I think it's typical actually for people like myself who grew up with no dad or, broken homes to actually dislike themselves immensely or like use that as a coping mechanism. Like, I guess I deserved it, what I got. And in my sobriety, I found out that's not true. But with it came this deep-seated belief that people aren't going to like you. They're never going to accept you, man, especially when you're a freak artist. You know, so I spent a lot of my life as a creator not trying to impress you, but trying to impress myself. And I'm still doing it. Still trying to prove to myself, like, look, you're leaving a record of a life worth living, Joey. That's my own shit. I accept it. I work with it. I climb mountains and let it go. I didn't really expect to be climbing all the way up the top of Island Mountain today. Just started walking and next thing I knew I was going up the trailhead. Another great reason to live in Wells though. Another great reason to live in Wells. There's moose prints on the road here. Let's see. There's one. Although it's very old, that one. There's a few fresher ones I've seen back there. Again, bad timing, Joey. You talk about the ferns, and there's no ferns. You talk about the moose print, there's no moose print. Oh! This spruce tree just broke off in the wind and ate shit hard. But if you look inside, you can see it was diseased, rotting from the inside out there. Dead inside, weakened, and an easy target, easy victim of the wind. I am not what anyone wants me to be or expects me to be, and if I were to try to be that, I would kill the very thing that makes me special and gifted. I understand that well, and that's been my struggle in life, how to be, not too far over the top that people can't handle it, but also how to stay true to what gives me my special set of gifts and skills, the thing that I have to offer the world. It's not something tangible where I can just say, it's these 1, 2, 3 things. No, it's much more complicated than that. What drives me and motivates me is this, like, just want to be like a child. I want to be like, explore, learn, share, look, see, look how fucking awesome everything is. Can be. Look how awesome it can be. Hey, look, there's the moose prints. See, I told you. You didn't believe me. Trust me, there's fern fiddleheads out there too, and you can eat them. And when they get a little bit leafy, they start getting very rich taste, kind of an acquired taste, especially if they get those tiny little leaf shoots starting on them. Is it my first choice of food? No. Is it my first choice when I'm starving in the wilderness? Absolutely. Unfortunately, they only last a short time in the spring. You can eat the ferns, sure, if you want to. I think the fiddleheads are prized for a reason. Yeah, a little bit of a cut block here. That's supposed to be, I guess, for fuel treatment or something or other. And there's the Two Sisters Mountain in the distance. A lovely day. This is really literally out my door. I walked out my door and the trailhead's not far from the house. Just there I go. Want to climb a mountain today, Joey? It's that easy. Just walk out your door. Now that it's not all covered in friggin' snow, Look at these beauties in the distance. There's Mount Cochrane right there out at the Bower Park. You can see there's like a bit of precip and hail there preceding it. I don't know if that'll make for a very good picture, but that's it in full. Mount Cochrane. I think another thing that drives me as an artist is the fact that I don't know how to connect with people otherwise. You know, it's like, look what I made, look what I can do, and then we talk. And that's kind of how I've always been as an artist, that wanted to make shit to share with people, because it's like how I can talk to people, it's how I communicate, it's how I share myself, it's how I come out of my shell, it's how I give to the world this thing I have. Hey, look, bear shit. Turds right there for you. Got the bear turds, and up here we got a nice little towering cumulus cloud popping. Some convection happening in the heat today. Didn't expect to see much for thunderstorms, but there's been a little bit of lightning in the Cariboo, so we're in that season right now where any little bit of moisture, if there's enough heat, can sometimes be all it takes, especially if there's different directions of winds above us, or different temperatures of winds, most especially. I think it's quite cold up above us. So a little bit of warmth just pushes through that cooler air like poof. It might not be obvious to the average person if there wasn't a fence in front of it. That is a shaft directly into the earth here on Island Mountain. I've been here before, as a matter of fact. I realize now looking at this one. I was here with Gary Polishchuk 2013 or 14. Almost certainly. Look at the massive pyrites. Oh man, massive pyrites. So certainly the larger pyrite cubes in there. I don't want to get in there. You can see some of those pyrite cubes are larger. Generally, if they're big like that, that's not where you're finding the gold in this country. You want the massive pyrite, which some of this may still qualify, may run, because it could be more than one event, geologically speaking, going on here. But that is massive sulfides. Definitely look at all along the rock face of this quartz. Really beautiful. And yeah, I've definitely been here with Gary Polishchuk back maybe as much as 12 years ago. It might have been the summer where Gene Potler was here with Al Doherty, the geologist, and we worked all summer up on Isle Mountain here, I would suspect. And the main reason I'm not going to go in there today isn't that I'm afraid of going underground. I've been underground all through this mountain, actually. Did a whole bunch of prospecting jobs, like 500 feet down in the old workings back in the day for Barkerville gold mine, so that's no problem. But I won't go without a helmet. Bad enough to not tell anybody where I am and start walking into mine shafts, which I'm not going to tell you where this is, but they're all over the place here, and you got to be very careful when you're walking just kind of randomly in the bush or even in cut blocks, because sometimes those ventilation shafts will surprise you, their locations, right? So somewhere up above this workings is probably some holes that come up through the ground to let air in, and if you're walking along and don't realize, hey, there's maybe a hole here, they can be quite disguised and you can go right friggin' through them. So that's a big time problem in this country, for sure. And I'll probably come up here sometime with my headlamp proper and a helmet. And I tell you why the helmet's a big deal to me. Because when I was underground, I was shocked at how many times I hit my head. When I was young, I really had something to prove to myself. So I said, I'm going to climb 100 mountains. Maybe that'll help me learn peace, find peace. And I was surprised. I mean, 1 year alone, I think it was 2004, I knocked off 20 mountains that year alone. And back then I had something to prove to myself. It wasn't like I was climbing road hills like I am right today, walking up and down the deactivated logging road. No, I was out to climb mountains back then. I was out to go for the big ones, to go for steep, unrelenting, difficult 2-3 days if it took to do it. I didn't care. You know, I'm older now. I'm 46. I'm not nearly the legs I used to be, although I'm still pretty good. Still pretty good. Just a little heavier, and that certainly weighs me down. Even how it affects my balance, having that little bit extra weight, it does make a big difference. But that's what happens when you get older. You thicken out. Your muscles get thicker. My shoulders got broader, you know. Everything put meat on it. And now I'm probably not ever going to escape being a 200-pound person unless something really wrong is happening. Which I don't want that. Look how beautiful it is on top Island Mountain today. Just gorgeous. Just out my back door, go for a walk. This is the life I wanted. This is how I wanted my life to be. I could just walk out the door and go climb a mountain. That was the dream. Back then I had to kind of settle. I had to live in the city for a while because I had nothing. And living in the city, it's like, well, if I'm going to go out for a mountain hike, I'm going to go find the most extreme thing I can get to because I've only got so many days or whatever, right? So now there's not that push of like that panic of, what if I leave BC and go back to Ontario? I better get all my mountaineering in now. No, that's no longer a thing either, because here I am, living in the mountains, staying here. Which reminds me, there is something I wanted to mention on here. And that's, I'm really glad to see you got internet quality enough now, Hubie, that you can sit at the camp and watch my forecast videos. I'll make sure to really think about the Duffy Pass when I'm making forecasts in the future. You're like some of the most important audience out to me there, Hubie. And there's a Grey Jay for everybody. A little whiskey, he's hiding. He doesn't want me to see him. There you are, your cute little head, buddy. Everyone see that now? The Whiskey Jack. Beautiful birds, great manners, well-tempered. They love to eat your food. So as I was saying, Hubie, I can't think of many people who've made more of an impact in my life than you. That's the honest truth. I can think of a few people like John Clark, you know, Sean Brandt and Sam and Catherine, people who helped me find my path as a radical. The time coming to the camp where I like really came into my own in a way as a mountain man, going and hiking up there. And you know, I was already hiking around, already doing lots of crazy adventuring. It wasn't like I hadn't been. It's just something about that was freeing. Something about you, something about your teaching, or you just the way you are, your camp. It was like, I belong in the mountains. I'm totally on the right path in life, you know? How did I come to find this guy? So I'm really proud of you, really thankful for you. And look at the view at my back door, Hubie. The Cariboo Mountains, there's Moose Meadows. Just gorgeous out there, just gorgeous. Beautiful storm there passing the background. You can see the weak mammatus clouds in behind. That deserves a photo. Beautiful epic day here in the Cariboo Mountains. And you know, another thing about you, Hubie, is you said to me back in the day, you got to live over 3,000 feet for what's coming next in the world. So like I understood, but Hubie said live above 3,000 feet. So I did. I went and found the clean water, clean air. In fact, I moved up even higher than Hubie, who's at about 3,450 feet or something like that, 35 or 36 maybe, something like that in the Cayuse. I forget the exact number. Love you, Hubie. There is a video I made for Arnie Jack, because when I was down south, I did go to Nisconlith, dropped in there. Actually was in Chase there at Adams Lake Band Hall for Arnie Memorial. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but that's on the channel here. So just search it, I guess, and you'll see a little video I made for that. That's the one of the 2 times I've been south in the past 5 years. The other time was for a fighter call. And I wasn't south for Arnie. It just so happened that it happened when I was down south. I was down south to play at that festival that treated me so good. Different story for a different day. Anyways, that's the beautiful scenery. Looking out to Slide Mountain and then Mount Murray. Moose Meadows in the foreground, the 1 mile lake out there in the distance. I have stories about all those places that I'll have to wait for another day. Time to walk home. And that was the funny thing, was I totally didn't plan to come out for a mountain hike today. I literally went outside to have a cigarette. And I went out there and I'm standing there and I was like, oh, I might as well walk the dog. And then I was like, oh, I think I'll take that shortcut up to the next road there just for the hell of it. It's noisy down here. My neighbor was doing some grinding or something. And then, I guess I'll just walk up the trail a little ways. The next thing I know, I'm on top of the mountain. Not many people can say, I went out for a cigarette but got distracted and climbed a mountain. I like climbing mountains because civilization is boring. I like being up and above it and away from it where it can't reach me. People are boring, the rules are boring, the constructs are boring, everything's so oppressive. Just to survive in this, you have to like become this thing that's acceptable, and I'm incapable of it. And out in the mountaintop, No one gives a shit. Up there's peace. The mountains shall bring peace to the people. They always have and they always will.